Hello everybody and welcome back to WoW Mods, and this time around, just by looking behind me, you can tell what this mod is going to be about. We're going to be taking a look at Gilneas and where I have it so far. I think I'm, ready to show you a bit of what I've done. It's going to be a little bit different, so there's going to be... I'm not going to go into the city proper, but I'll show you some of the changes that I've done as compared to the previous video. So one of the things that I ultimately ended up deciding on was using the actual Gilnean gate and having it closed, because I thought, well, if I'm doing this, this is sort of pre-cataclysm, so certain events have not been haven't taken place yet. So I'm pretty much in this universe where the wall is still up and running and closed. But I thought, what would be a nice or interesting way or interesting access point for this? And so I think one of the ways that you could possibly smuggle yourself into Gilneas would be through the ocean, some secret routes, climbing the mountains, and whatnot. And I thought, hey, you know what? That sounds exactly like what I should do. So if you take down through the coast, this is sort of like the hidden path that you can take. You will arrive at a spot which smugglers... Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I guess I might as well talk about it. I've been having a couple of issues with the map. There's been a couple of bugs that I haven't been able to fully resolve. In fact, I thought I'd resolved all of them. And then as I was walking close to that dock that you saw down there, it crashed. So obviously it's not fully 100% taken care of, so I'll need to, look into it. But that's part of working with noggit and modding in general. So what I was saying about this is that this is going to be sort of Smuggler's Path. And Smuggler's Path is this winding and overgrown area which leads to some of the Highlands in Gilneas. So we're gonna go up here, and then this will be sort of like Smuggler's Encampment. It's a small, sort of like secluded area. It's not very clear where it's coming from, so it's meant to be secluded. This is not a main road, so that should be very, very clear. And so through that, we end up arriving at what are the Highlands, where we actually have the sort of like some of the farmlands of Gilneas or Gilneas, however which way you want to pronounce it. Don't bash me. um, so yeah, so here we see, we have the mills. I'll probably be doing a custom model for that and making it match sort of like the Gilnean style a bit more. We've got the farms, obviously. There's been a good bit of... I changed all the grass, I've changed all the trees, so it's a massive amount of work if you realize how much switching over I had to do. I've changed the light posts. They used to be this one's still sort of like remaining. In here, of course, you'll have the mine slash cavern area, which can be used for any purposes as one might want. And then we're going to continue going around the city proper. We're not going to go inside the city because I have the main layout yet, but it's messy. I haven't like gotten into like all the details. So here's the town, of course, and there's the main tower there. You can see some silhouettes of the lighthouses that are scattered throughout the land. Lighthouses that sort of like indicate the rocky shores of the kingdom. If we go down this way, of course, we'll arrive to the bridge that eventually takes us into the city, and beyond that, of course, we can see the small port where the ship is docked on that area. If we go down this path, we're going to be sort of like surrounding or winding around the city. The city itself is sort of the centerpiece for the entire region. If we look at it from above, I tried to make it resemble as much the official Gilneas layout, but obviously shrunken down to a larger degree. If we go up here, we'll get to the actual sort of like fort structure, which hasn't been finished. You can actually see here there's some of the old lighting elements. You don't see much details around these areas because I still haven't gone in, come here and actually gone at doing a second pass. I changed the way that the cemetery works. I've removed a bit of the fog just because it's a little bit hard working with all that fog along the way. And yeah, and this, of course, for those of you who have missed all the other iterations of the videos, is good gracious! It's 1 second here. Let me just do that. This is, of course, a great. It's a huge underground dungeon, great for either RP effects or making a mini dungeon, whatever you want to do. It's a tremendous location. Adds a whole other level to the zone. So again, the idea is that the zone itself is small, but we really want to just take advantage of every single bit of real estate. Here we have another bridge, and this is going to, of course, lead into the city proper. Might as well go ahead and show you a bit of it. So that's about as far as I'll show you into the city, but you'll get an idea for like the alleyways and whatnot. And the city is going to be the more complicated part because it requires a bit more of attention when it comes to detail and all of that. So we're going to continue down this way. This is going to take us to the hills, where we're going to see a bit of the lighthouse. We'll see a bit of what is going to be the Gilneas Manor, which is something that I also wanted to make sure, not the Gilneas, the Greymane Manor, or this version of what the Greymane Manor is. Although I will tell you straight away, I will redesign this area to one degree or another. I want the manor to be, or the house to be seen once we make this turn. I want to be able to see it. So there'll be some terrain work here. I'm not entirely 100% happy with what I have there. Obviously, from here you can see, the sides of the hills, and it's pretty, creepy with these dead trees and whatnot. And this is the manor itself. If we go in there, look, it's very superficial amount of work, not much detail. A lot is sort of like left over from what used to be here before. But yeah, so this is sort of the manor, and I'm going to eventually redesign this and have it be sort of like completely different. What we're going to do now as well is we're going to go ahead and we're going to just travel along this way, and we'll make our way to the port area. The port area is something that I, redesigned a bit, changed the palette a bit, just to give it a bit more difference. There are other ideas too that I want to get by. I'm going to collaborate with a server, and there's definitely a server that's particularly interested in this particular patch. So it's most likely that I'll ask them for some feedback and see what else can be developed. This area here, I would love for this to be some sort of encampment, like tents or shacks, just sort of like on the outskirts of the city. I think that would be a nice little environment. Plus, it's sort of empty around this area, so it would be interesting to have that for sure. We go up here, and as you can see, this has sort of been redesigned. I made the path over again. I think the older path was a bit too narrow, not that very well pronounced. And yeah, this would be the hilltop of this lighthouse. I'm going to be adding some tents here so that this could be, an encampment for caretakers and or whatnot. Maybe somebody who lives at the lighthouse. So that's going to be pretty interesting. What else do we have here? Well, as we wind down from one of these lighthouse, you can see now that there's a change that's occurring between the trees, and we're moving to sort of more autumnish type of hues. We've got browns and oranges, and there's definitely a sort of like a different aesthetic to it. This is another change that I made. I thought that, you know, considering that we're surrounded by water, there's not a whole lot of beaches, and I thought that this would be a clever way to have access to that, and also to give a bit of variety to the area itself. So as you can see here, it's a little bit rougher. I'm going to probably come back around this and you know, smooth some things out. But yeah, this area has a different feel to it. It's a little bit more autumn, and I'm glad that it does work that way, because I wanted this small town slash port area to feel distinct to the rest of the city. It's got enough coverage that if there are people like in the city or on the far side, it feels like there's enough division and separation between the zones that you could truly enjoy it. So, having said that, one of the things that I want to do now is I want to hop on. I don't want to just walk you through what we've just been there, what we've just seen. So I'm just going to hop on to another junction point in the map, and we'll take it from there.